CLTFC Fan TV, for the fans, by the fans, presents 4 Points Live. I'm JT. Y'all know Lee. And tonight we have our good friend Top Ben 90, Jorge, joining us as well. And tonight's special guest, Phil Orban, sports anchor for WSOC Channel 9, the new broadcast partner for your Charlotte FC. Our topics on 4 Points Live: renovations of the new stadium, we saw it. The TV deal with FSOC and Telemundo. What's all this then with this Super League and shit? I got my second shot of that Derna today. So that's the drug I'm on. Get vaccinated. Yep. And don't forget, when discussing Charlotte FC, drink Catawba Brewing CLT IPA. I do. Take it away, Lee.
All right, thanks, man. So it's hard to follow up with that, man. So welcome, Top Ben. How's it going, buddy?
I'm great. I'm great. Excited to be here. Honored to be on one of the best YouTube channels in the whole world with 2 of my favorite people.
Oh yeah. So me and the other one.
Sweet. So sweet.
Hey Phil, how's it going, man?
Good. How y'all doing? I didn't realize we should have brought beers. I should have thought of that.
Phil, you should always have beers. Come on.
Yeah, a minute and go get you a beer if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. No, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. So, well, like we said, or I guess like JT kind of hollered at us all. WSOC TV is kind of teamed up with Charlotte FC and becoming the broadcasting partner. Telemundo and Channel 64 as well, right? You want to kind of tell us how that came about, or if you want to just introduce yourself first, that would probably be the better way to go.
Yeah, so I'm the sports anchor at Channel 9, sports director at Channel 9, and been in Charlotte for 7 years. And we've had leadership at the station for the past several years that has been all over sports as much as we can get into. So we partner with the Panthers, and now as soon as Charlotte FC came to market, we wanted to pair up, and this is something that has been in the works for months and weeks, and just trying to kind of fine tune the agreement and stuff like that. We almost announced it a few weeks earlier, kind of had to wait and pull back some contract stuff, but I'm so excited because I love live sports. Live sports is kind of my drug, right? Like having that on our air is unbelievable. And I'm probably going to have a bunch of corporate cliches for you guys, but it really is kind of a win-win for both of us. Like we get to air the games, and then, Charlotte FC gets to have their games over the air, which means for free on either Channel 9, TV 64, or Telemundo. And that piece was a huge piece of it. Being able to broadcast games on Telemundo in Spanish was huge for Charlotte FC, because that opens the door for the Hispanic community, the Spanish-speaking community, because even just our folks at Telemundo were doing backflips when they found out about the partnership. They were all in, and it's great, especially when you see people struggling with the Hornets, right? Like I'm trying to watch it on YouTube TV, and I can't. I don't have that specific cable package, and I can't watch the games. Like that's killer. So I think that was a huge driver for them to partner with an over-the-air station.
Phil, what do you think? Because for you to say over the air, I just want to really drum that home, because when I first heard it, I was so excited, because I love, I think if you don't have an antenna set up and you're streaming stuff, you just don't know if you live in a city, because there's so many great channels out there now. The quality is great, but the idea that a child or whoever growing up in the community in our Charlotte can tune it in and not have to stream or pay for it, I think that's so huge. I think that's such a great thing. And then to juxtapose that with the Hornets, which Bally's or whatever, Fox Sports now, the whole idea that you can't even see it. So I love however it came to be that you're literally going to put it over the air. That's such a wonderful thing.
And so again, just to clarify, so there's 34 games, 17 home, 17 away. all the regional games are going to be over the air. So ESPN does have the right to pick up some national games. So we could lose a handful here or there. But every other game that ESPN doesn't pick up, we're going to have over the air. And that's, again, like you said, I've got, I work for a TV station and I cut the cord, right? Like I don't need cable because I got an antenna from Sam's Club for $35 and I can get 50 channels. I don't watch them all, but I can get all the local stations. I can get, watch the Super Bowl, watch, NBA on ABC and stuff like that. So I'll be able, that's it's just accessibility. And I think that was so important. Accessibility was really important to Charlotte FC.
Yeah, that's huge in my opinion too. I mean, because obviously there's going to be people that are not fans of the sport yet that we can capture because it's not going to be streaming services and that sort of thing. So you mentioned that this started off early on when the, I guess like you said, this has been going on for some time, this discussion with the club. So once they were announced, did you kind of just like run over to the door and knock on there and say, "Hey, Tepper, man, we're here for you," or how does that kind of work out? How's that relationship go?
Yeah, so it's and again, like I apologize for the corporate cliches, but like it really is. We are working together because we benefit having this partnership. Like there's no doubt, right? Like we are, we're going to get viewers on Channel 9. We're going to get viewers on TV 64. We're going to get viewers on Telemundo. But Charlotte FC also sees us as a vehicle to get their games out. You know what I'm saying? And we are the top rated station in Charlotte. So we do have a little bit of a powerful voice, right? Like people know where Channel 9 is. And we're hoping to guide them to TV 64 so we can kind of raise that ship. And again, like cliches all over the place, but I feel like everybody's going to win.
Yeah, no, it's huge. And I think it's a big thing. And, I'm glad you guys got it. So I'm excited to kind of see what you do. Now for the folks that would be kind of out of town, would you guys be streaming that like through your app or anything like that?
So I'm not exactly sure how all that's going to turn out. My get, like I could see there being kind of an affiliate network across the Carolinas, right? Where it would be a different kind of station, similar to what the Panthers do with their preseason games, right? We carry their preseason games, but in Raleigh, another station carries them, in the Spartanburg area, another station carries them, something like that. So we would be the flat. And again, I don't know for sure, but it would make the most sense to have some sort of affiliate network. And then as far as the streaming, I had a feeling you guys would ask about that. I asked my bosses and they said, nothing yet. A lot of that comes from the league. So it's not something that like Charlotte FC and like, I'm sure we would love to stream it on our app. That would be amazing for us. And I'm sure Charlotte FC would love that too, but that's usually like an MLS call, like if they're going to let us stream their games. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern to see what we can do. We're going to try to get it out as many ways as we can. Because the more eyeballs for us, the better. The more eyeballs for the club, the better. So that's what we're going to do.
What do you see? Have you started thinking about the different offshoots and programs beyond just covering the game, or like a before and after the game? Any like special things, because you're going to have access to all the players and everything, obviously being the partner. Have you just gotten your creative sports director mind going, and can you share any thoughts with us?
1,000%. I mean, 1,000%. Like the good news is all the heavy lifting is going to be done by Raycom. So they're going to produce the games. They're going to do the pregame, postgame shows. It's going to be our job to get everybody excited for soccer. That's going to be my job starting, now, right? We're a year away, right? But it's finding way, and this is where the club's going to help too. They're going to say, hey, we're building this soccer field in this neighborhood. Like, why don't you come out while we build it, talk to the people and see how they feel? I'd love that, right? Like that's a feel good story. Hey, we just signed this player from X. This is what's so special about him. Let's go do a story about him. And that's one of the things that I've loved doing throughout my career is like, I'm a sports guy, but I love stories, right? Like I love finding out about you off the field, not necessarily on the field. So if I can get these guys sitting down, talking about how they grew up, like what their life was like, what their parents were like, what their siblings were like, that connects them to the viewers. So you don't even have to like soccer, but if you turn on the game, you're like, oh wait, like I know that dude. Like he's got a really good story. I'm going to root for him. So that's my goal. And you know, like you said, they only have 4 players, so we're just kind of working as it comes. But you know, as this thing grows, we're gonna grow with it.
We'll be lockstep with you, Phil.
Love it.
You know, that was like, so for us, that was the big thing, right? You know, it's been a year, almost, I guess, going on 2 years now. No, I guess it's just a little over a year that the club was announced, and the local media didn't really seem to cover much, right? You know, like for instance, when Nick Kelly got brought on, right? I don't remember seeing a story or anything really being on the local news at 6 o'clock, right? And so it's good to see that you guys are kind of partnered up, and I'm hoping, like you said, that you guys can get more in bed, if you will, with the club, right?
100%, yeah.
Sort of, so start pushing more content out, at least to the local area here in Charlotte.
Because I mean, we heard those concerns, right? Like, but the way like they had, that club has like turned a corner. They're hiring folks. They're hiring, you know, PR folks. I know, you know, in the past, they're juggling so much, and the pandemic didn't help, right? Like it was just kind of this mess of stuff to kind of get through. So now it appears to have kind of turned a corner, and really like they've gotten their legs under them, and like we're really trying to kind of figure things out. And like I said, we're just trying to grow with them, because everybody's trying to figure it out at the same time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Being in that sports director role, what kind of differences do you see from a soccer fan perspective than any other sport?
So that's interesting. There are a couple things, I think. There are a couple barriers that you kind of have to break through. One is, you know, I think soccer fans have a tendency to be protective of their sport, right? Like, I think because the popularity of the sport among fans is growing, right? Like we're seeing casual fans kind of try to latch onto soccer. I think it's important for established soccer fans to kind of pull them along and say, no, like this is why the game was 2-0, but it was still really exciting for a really long time. Like watch this build up, right? Like watch this play. They didn't score, but they almost did, and like that was really, really exciting. So I think you have to have that like community. You know what I'm saying? Like if you watch the videos of, you know, like the Portlands and the Seattles and Columbus and all, and they're, you know, they have the tifos and they have the chants and they have the drums, and they're all kind of in lockstep together. I think that's one of the most electric things in sports that you can have. And I think we can get there as a city. It just kind of takes you guys, right, to say, hey, well, you know, come check this out. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like watch this, like, see how cool this is, and people get on board. Yeah, exactly, 100%.
That's why I love that they're even streaming it in Spanish as well, because I mean the Spanish market is so big on soccer. So I mean,
that I know was just a huge part for the club to have that access. And like I said, our Telemundo folks, they're over the moon with this. You know, they're asking me questions about the academy team. They're going out to cover it, and I'm like, we haven't gotten there yet. You know what I mean? But they're all over it. So, you know, I mean, it's so important to the Hispanic community, and even just like the chance to watch the game in your native language has to be so special. Like, you know, it's not even like you don't speak English. This is what I'm most comfortable listening to and watching. And so to kind of give that to such a rabid soccer fan base, I think is a huge win for us and for the club.
It's funny that you say that, because I mean, I prefer to speak English over Spanish. I speak both, but when I watch soccer, I just grew up watching it in Spanish. So like I tend to just watch. If I have to choose, I'm always going to choose Spanish because that's how I grew up. And there's a big base of fans that are like that as well. They're like, oh, okay, it's being covered in Spanish. Let me watch it like that instead.
That's awesome because like every once in a while I'll throw on like a CONCACAF game and it'll be in Spanish and I don't understand a word of it, but it sounds so gorgeous that I'm just like, all right, you're like, whatever. I know what's going on and I can hear a name here or there. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah. So John is asking out here, one of the questions from one of the viewers is saying, will we get preseason coverage or Open Cup?
That is a great question. I just don't know because we're so far out. I just don't know any of those questions. I would have to assume that we would do everything we could to get those games on, like especially the preseason games. Whatever we could do to get more games on our air, we're going to try to do. So I just don't have you got to talk to me in about 6 months and we'll try to figure it out then.
All right.
Booked.
Yep. 1 o'clock in 6 months.
You got it.
So yeah. So are you guys doing any stories with the renovations or anything, like meaning like you getting behind the scenes that we're not seeing, like actually down there with the workers?
So yeah, we were in the stadium for the announcement and we just got to kind of see it. And again, like all that stuff's going to happen, I think, quickly. Cause like if you drive by the stadium on that east side of the stadium, it's just gutted right now. And I don't know what it's going to look like when it's done. I've seen the renderings. It's going to look amazing. I can't wait until that's finished. I can't wait until, like, when I was in there, they were tearing up the midfield tunnel for the players to come out. But that stadium has so much available space to it. And especially once the Panthers get their offices up in down at Rock Hill and they can take all their offices that were in the stadium and get them out of there, there's going to be so much space in there. I was talking to Nick Kelly about it, bars, restaurants, just, suites, just the whole look of that place is going to be different. And I cannot wait to get in there. So yes, I hope they let me in there early. Like I hope we're able to do the hard hat tour walking around. But I mean, they have some big plans.
You don't want the hard hat tour. What you want is the soft opening. Yeah. So like the taps are flowing. We'll just walk around and eat the heavy hors d'oeuvres, check out the burger, make sure the queue's good on the third level.
Yeah.
So if anyone out there is I want to go to the soft opening, please.
That's smart. I like that.
Yeah. So Sean's asking, you may or may not know, is there any ideas around the Spanish/English radio network affiliates?
Yeah, I don't know anything about the radio networks, to be honest. Like I said, I hope they're out there. Like I hope that, the more people that can listen to the club, that can see the club, the better for everybody, the better for the club, the better for us, the better for Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? So I do not have any radio info yet.
No.
How excited are you to be in on the ground level of creating this culture? I think 10 years from now, even getting some cool points with your kids, like I'm hoping to, is the whole idea of just, being there when it was created and being integral in creating that, culture itself from the chance or anything. How excited are you to be a part of this upwell of creating this?
So I think it didn't really hit me until there was that event at Noda Brewing a few weeks ago. And there were just so many people there, and there were so many different backgrounds, and there were so many different folks that were out there, and they all kind of it was like they were all kind of wandering a desert and they found each other. You know what I'm saying? And everybody just kind of that was what was so cool to me. And that's what I'm hoping you guys are going to do, right? I'm hoping that, you get your little club and then you see these 3 people over here and you say, let's check this out, and they join. And then this group over here and you get them in that's what's so cool to me, is to see this thing and see it grow. Cause of course there are soccer fans in Charlotte. We've had the independents, there have been clubs elsewhere in the Carolinas that have gotten support. That's great. But to have kind of this one focal point for everybody to focus on and grow with, there was this one, there were new parents, they had a little baby and they're like, we get to have our kid grow up as a fan of the local MLS club. And I thought that was so cool to me. It's you don't even think about something like that. That's so cool to me. For that kid to be 1 year old and then he's 20 years old and he's going to games. It's just that I can't wait.
What about babies in the supporter section? How do we feel about that? If someone's standing the whole time, it's got a baby.
Nothing's better than the baby with the cans on. You know what I'm saying? The headphones. That give me those shots all day.
That's right. So are you going to be calling the game?
God, I wish. No. I would love to. No, they have a much more talented voice of the team. I gotta see who that is.
Sideline reporter. It's not Joe Bruno, is it? Shout out to Joe for COVID stuff. By the way.
It is not. He would love to. I'm sure he would love to do it as well, but he is not. He's too busy to do that. He's too busy saving lives.
He's doing
something like that I thought was interesting was like the hiring of the PR and how you're seeing like more traction with that. What else are you noticing that Charlotte FC is doing that's kind of like opening your eye a little bit? Like, okay, like these guys are doing some interesting things.
So, the thing that kind of hit me over the head, I mean, we touched on it, the stadium renovations, just to me, like came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew they were going to have these changes and they were going to, what struck me was from day one, it's been, in order to have the club, you have to make the stadium X, X, and X. You have to do this. You have to make it soccer friendly, right? So if you're David Tepper and you own an NFL franchise, you would think that the NFL franchise is your baby, and the MLS club is going to play second fiddle. So you're going to do the bare minimum, right? You're going to keep it NFL. The things that they're doing, the signage that they're going to have, is going to make it feel like you are in an MLS stadium. And that, I think, is the thing that really made me realize, like, they're doing this the right way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that, like seeing the renderings was like, holy cow, like that doesn't look like Bank of America Stadium. It's not going to look like a football game. It's going to look like a soccer stadium. And I thought that was really cool. So I can't wait to see like how that turns out. And like I said, they're just kind of getting, there's not, the tough thing is like, there's not a whole lot to talk about yet. Like Nick told me that their manager is not going to come until maybe early in the summer. Like that's their target date. But like, that's the big thing. Cause then once the manager's there, then you can see how does he play. And then you can kind of guess maybe what type of players they're going to go after. So I think by early summer, you're really going to get some momentum and trying to kind of get this thing going. And then before you know it, it'll be January.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we only have 8 months until preseason next year. That's so.
Phil, you got to get the SOC people to start pitching the idea. Can you imagine yourself on a banner ad going across that 200-foot LED screen for the games, like the best sports team in all of Charlotte? There you go. I'm telling you, your face just scrolling across in front of the Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah, I would love that. Nothing would make me happier.
Make that happen, station manager. Make that happen, station manager.
Sorry, JT gets a little carried away. So, yeah, Phil. So, man, have you ever been to you called out Portland earlier? Like, have you ever gone to a MLS game?
I've never been. Always wanted to go. Like, I just, you see them on TV and you see like my favorite thing is like not even on TV. It's like when you see the YouTube videos of the guy in the crowd who's like showing kind of what it's like to be there. Like that sort of stuff. Just like it's awesome. It's awesome. So no, never been. Really excited to go.
Yeah. Yeah, the same here. Not MLS, a couple of EPL games for sure, but not. And I'm sure when they do the ICC and all that kind of stuff throughout the. US.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I have. Yeah, I went to those and that was cool. But again, that's an exhibition. You've got some Liverpool fans. You've got but it's going to be cool to go to a home atmosphere. I'm going to like that.
Our team, that's for sure.
Are y'all gonna cover like the beginning of the opening the new Memorial Stadium and the Independence moving in there? That seems like it'd be a big enough story to elevate at least the beginning of it.
For sure. I mean, I think there is that kind of symbiosis, right, with the Independence, and especially since Brandt's on there as well. Like we'll be following the Independence as well and following Brandt because he's going to be an important name kind of to follow. And he's here, right? Like you know, the other three guys are overseas, but Brant's going to be right there, right next door, and it'll be fun to kind of follow his season.
Nice.
Yeah, Brant's an awesome guy. We've talked to him a couple of times, and he's representing the club very well. So
yes, big fans of Bronico.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I know. I want Bronico is just an awesome name. So we got the Bank of America, right, stadium. You know, like you mentioned, right, we got you guys are covering Spanish and English for us here in at least in the Charlotte metro area. How far out does that region go, like the WSOCTV? How far do you guys go?
So we'll go down south into like York and Chester counties. We'll go north into Iredell County, like Hickory, kind of it, you know, and at that point you need a stronger antenna. But we'll probably go, I mean, we probably have like a 1 hour driving radius kind of from uptown.
Yeah. So, well, cool, man. So do you have season tickets?
Hopefully I will be there for every game, and hopefully I won't need tickets. I'll be able to just have a credential and get in and have my run of the place. That's my goal.
Listen. Nick said we're going to be able to get up in that press box too. We're going to get up in the press box too every once in a while. But you got to get down there if you want that visceral experience with the supporters.
That's what I'm saying.
We got our extra supporter seat. One day maybe we'll come up in the box and we'll just drag you down.
No, I'll be gone. If I hear you guys are coming up, I'll be gone. I will tell you.
We'll
I will tell you.
With a beer or something.
The Panther, when the Panthers played in London, they played in Tottenham, in Tottenham's new stadium, which is just, that thing is just unbelievable. And that press box is in the middle of the stands. So it's open air. You're like at midfield, maybe 30 or 40 yards up. And it was the best experience I've ever had covering a game. It was a trip. It was awesome. So, you know, it's tough to, like, all the open air press boxes are my favorite. There's one in New Orleans. It's tough to be kind of behind all that plexiglass, like you're in a room. So yeah, I might have to pop down to the lower level and see what's what.
Well, I'm sure we could scrounge up a ticket for you, man, if you need one, for sure. We'll be in the supporter section. We'll even have a chant going for you.
There you go. Love it.
Yes, sir.
What?
Well, go ahead. You got some more, JT? Go for it.
No, I was just going to say I could segue into all this. Did y'all cover the Super League stuff? How was it? You know, with so many American fans could give a crap less about soccer, you know, but we were trying to integrate them in. But this whole huge story of the Super League, and everyone was losing their minds, and now they backed off of it. Did you give it much airtime at all, or how was the discussions in the newsroom before you went to air on all that stuff?
Yeah, so you know, we wouldn't have covered that like from it because we don't do a ton of like national stuff like that. But you know, my kind of take on that is it's just a bunch of rich guys trying to get richer. And I think once that stuff gets kind of caught and because like, again, you know, you see that tweet and it's like, oh wow, like all these clubs are just going to play each other. Like that would actually be pretty cool. Then you're like, oh, wait a second. You know, you're not going to have these 130-year-old rivalries anymore. You're not going to have this, you know, and it's going to destroy the heart of European soccer. Like, you're like, all right, I guess it's not so good. You know, so it was kind of it was once you realize what's behind it, which is money, you're like, all right, forget it. Let's move on. So I'm glad that thing got squashed.
Yeah, likewise, big Tottenham fan myself. So yes, I appreciate that they got kicked or they decided or kind of suit. But I mean, it goes to show, at least over in Europe, right, that the fans kind of have that sort of power, right? Because when hours run around, I just wondered if I'm trying to think of the equivalent of how the MLS would go, right? I mean, because basically we're a closed shop anyways in regards to the league, right? So, you know, it sounds like Europe was almost, not to compare Europe and the MLS, but we were trying to, Europe was trying to emulate that, right? So I just,
right.
You know, when the fans in the MLS to me don't seem to have the clout, I guess, that like Europe fans have, right? Because of the way the pyramid's set up and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know where I'm really going with that. I just felt like that was needed to be said right then and there. So
I got you. Yeah.
Phil, man, we appreciate you coming on, buddy. We're you're more than welcome to hang out while we just kind of chat with whoever's watching, if anybody's watching, and we'll see what people see, if anybody, maybe we can try to call in. We're actually trying to up our game here, so we're trying to get everybody call in. So
let me know,
Phil. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and can't wait to see you either in the press box or wherever. But we got to get you some of that merch, man. I know you're a Terrapin at heart, and I know you like that red.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get started on that with them leaving the ACC. Carry your ass, Terrapins.
Well,
all I can say about that. But nonetheless, we just need to get you some black, some blue.
So this is the one thing that I can't wait to see their kits. And Nick said it's going to be kind of end of the year before those roll out. So we're going to have a long wait for that. But I think there is nothing cooler than a top-notch soccer. I think it's the best jersey in sports. I think they look so clean, and it's like the perfect, like one of my prized possessions is a Messi jersey from the 06 World Cup. The 06 World Cup, when he wasn't even wearing 10, he was wearing like 16 or something like that. And it was just like, it was a 19. Okay. All right. I got it. But yeah, and it's just like, they just like the colors are always sharp and they're clean, and like it's so weird because you have the sponsor, but it's like still like it doesn't even matter. It's just, I don't know. So I can't wait to see what they come up with.
Phil geeks out on the kits. I love it.
Yeah.
Phil's gonna have the tightest kit going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're used to putting on the ties and everything, the sports coat to be the on air, so that makes perfect sense. I love it.
Yeah, like to be comfy. Pop that thing off as soon as the show's over.
So I'm sure you walk around with shorts on and tennis shoes or something, right? It's just kind of like those Zoom meetings, right?
I change into my suit and I change out of my suit. Yeah. So I'm not the guy that has shorts on underneath the desk. I'm the guy that has shorts on when he walks off the desk and he's done for the day. Get comfy. That's my motto. Get comfy.
Get comfy. Phil, get comfy Orban. I love it.
I'll take that.
If I see you from a distance, that's the first thing I'm gonna yell. Get comfy.
And I will be in some joggers, and I'll be in a t-shirt, and I'll be. You won't even need to tell me because I already will be.
That's right.
Unless I'm walking on the set, I will be comfortable.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have to return my call. You're just gonna look back, and we're gonna know you're comfortable.
And I'm gonna say already am. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, Phil, again, thank you, sir. We appreciate your time, man. And like you said, mark that calendar for, I guess, 6 months, you said,
6
right?
months
let me know.
Just like a dentist appointment.
That's right.
We'll give you a little card.
I'm in. You just gotta remind me. I get those text alerts when I have like doc's appointments and stuff, because you'll tell me 3 days and I'll forget, and I'll get a text and it's like, I got to be there in 15 minutes.
It's reply yes if you're going to be on 4 Points Live. Reply no if you cannot make it.
Yeah. Unsubscribe. No, I'm in.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Appreciate
of course.
You. All right.
Thank you.
All right, bye. All right. Jorge, what's up, man?
I'm great, man.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, the perspective that Charlotte's doing a great job of doing some marketing, and just hearing what he's talking about, it coincides with what we've been hearing, right? From within the club. I know we've gotten a chance to experience a couple of things with the club, and it's really good to see someone that's not like directly involved in the club talk about some of the things that we're seeing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And interesting, like Lee, when you said the thing about how Nick Kelly, when he got hired, wasn't even a story. Yeah. Just my background in marketing and stuff, just knowing not having that PR person hired yet to pitch to SOC, to pitch to our, whoever, FNZ, and say, hey, we're hiring this guy, and really, because so many times they're not sitting out there totally looking for stores. A lot of things get pitched to them. So to now have those people hired, we're just going to see that snowball effect just continue.
Yeah, that right. I saw like YouTube videos from some of the other stations, right? It's like, to me, it was just never pushed out there. I mean, I would think the president of the soccer club in Charlotte, the new soccer club in Charlotte, would be something big, right? It would be a story to cover, I guess, right? So
we covered it.
Yeah,
we covered it. Damn it.
That's right, because that's what we do. We cover stuff.
That's what we do. CLTFC Fan TV, for the fans, by the fans, covering shit.
Straight plug. So, Jorge, what do you think of the renovations, man?
I'm super excited about them. Exactly what Phil was talking about. Like, you can actually see that there's actually it's going to feel like a soccer culture. Like, even like in the video, you see like they have that prop where like the players are coming out and there's the fans behind them where they're building that in the Panther Stadium. I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. Like that gives it that, like, I know when I watch Champions League games, when I watch Premier League games, when I've watched Super League games, just kidding about the Super League, but you can see like when they have the trophy or when players are coming out and the referee grabs the ball, that's what that kind of reminds me of. So, and all the LED lights that they're putting in there, man, that's going to be cool.
Screens, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, even the stuff that you don't see, right? Because we heard obviously about the lights for night games and that sort of thing, right? How they can black them out and bring them back up like super quick versus what they have now where it takes like 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
To cover up.
I want to know what's in that barrel in the rendering of the one of those super fast bars. I guess they call them the tap room. The whole idea of like the march in with the supporters, how everyone can get a beer real quick. I want to know what the speed is. I want to know what's in that barrel. It's like going to a wedding reception when they already have all the drinks set out. That's what they should do. Use some of the supporters' money, the ticket money, to go into just like having like a whole refrigerator of pre-poured beers, and they just, ding, ding, hand them.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys saw, right, the club pushing the Ted Lasso stuff today. Jorge, remember we had to kind of tell you what that was.
Yeah, I was like, who is this?
Right. So it's fun.
For a second, I was like, wait, is this the coach? I was like, nah, I've seen that guy on TV.
Is this the coach?
But yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? Because it definitely sounds like around like June, July, right, is when we should expect to hear.
Yeah.
So anybody out there have any preferences, and please know Trophy Mourinho's. I'd even take Frank over him at this point, So who you got? Who you think who's he gonna be our first coach, you think? The European?
I think it's very difficult. If it's going to be a European, it's got to be somebody that understands that, I guess, that Eastern European mindset that the club's bringing in, or somebody that understands the Dutch league. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like that, because that's what based off the players, based off our coaching staff, that's what it seems like. If they bring somebody from MLS, it's got to be an MLS proven coach because they understand the MLS. So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking the club's thinking of. It's really cool just talking to people within the club, kind of seeing their time frame. So it'll be good once they have the coach nailed down. One thing that I got a chance to talk to Nick Kelly about was the differences how like Austin actually had to rush a little bit in terms of getting players for their squad, and Charlotte's actually taking a deep dive, and they have a really good chance of kind of exploring a little bit more to try to get in the right type of players. So, because one of the questions I had was, okay, like, I understand that one of the things that you guys want to do is have an amazing game day experience, but at the end of the day, if we got a striker who's missing sitters every game, it doesn't matter how good the game day experience is, you know.
Definitely will ruin it.
So I'm excited to see that roster.
Yeah, it will be interesting, right, to see how they build it out and who they bring in, especially because, like you touched on, most of the guys are from Europe, anyways, right? So hopefully they kind of, you know.
I think one of the things the club wants to do as well, that I got a chance to talk to some of the people about, is they want to bring somebody in between the ages of like 33 to 35, where they're not really gonna be someone that's gonna be playing week in, week out, but somebody that can actually be a kind of like a mentor to a lot of players because of how youthful our squad's gonna be. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I guess I really think it's going to depend on who our manager is or coach or whatever we're going to call them, right, to see if indeed they're going to play more of the Latin American style or the European style. So I guess we shall.
I'm going to go get another Catawba Brewing CLT IPA. If you're going to discuss or watch Charlotte FC, get yourself a Catawba Brewing CLT IPA today.
How much are they paying this guy?
I'm trying to get a sponsor of this. Just pay me in beer.
Yeah. So, but here's a decent question, man. Right? So, there was coming this weekend during open weekend that most East Coast teams go to Europe. West Coast teams seem to go to Latin America. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think Atlanta proved that the Latin American style can work in the East. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they brought in Tata Martino, Josef Martinez. They built a great squad that won an MLS Cup in 3 years. So,
yeah, I mean, Tepper boy, he put us on the spot, didn't he? He came out and said, "Hey, screw that city," and so we'll see. Let's see what else we got out here. Oh, Between Clean Sheets is here. How you doing? Big DC United fan. Seems like we let anybody into this. Yeah. So if the early signs are things to come, it would probably go the European route. I tend to agree with that. It really seems like we're going to be European heavy.
yeah.
So, I don't have anything against it. I know in our group chat that we have, Jorge, you seem to get a little upset about it, but
I think we need to cater a little bit to that Latin American kind of soccer, man. That's just me. Huh?
You don't think we will?
I think we will. I think we will.
I'd be very disappointed if we don't, for sure.
Do we know if any of the other MLS teams is kind of just an average to say, hey, most MLS teams have 50% European, 30%, Latino, whatever. Is it kind of, do we have an idea of what most of the other teams, how they're made up, or does it even matter?
Well, I think it's understanding the market that you're in. I mean, Atlanta did a great job of understanding the market that they're in. Charlotte, it seems like if Nick has a marketing background and he'll see, okay, there's a big Spanish presence in Charlotte. So I'm assuming they'll cater a little bit to that as well. But also they don't want to make the mistakes that like Miami's making, where they got 4 DPs, where, like there's so many things going on. Like what kind of a CV did Neville really have to be the coach there? You know what I'm saying? So like
he had the CV. He had it was a tech. Hey man, I'm looking for a job. You got anything open? Right?
Yeah.
Must be nice to have friends in Miami. One day when you guys move to Miami, you got to invite me down. But you touched on something though about Miami. I thought they played pretty well this weekend, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They looked different than they did last season.
Yeah, with that being said, I mean, they did play well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they played Galaxy, but I guess it depends. They seem to have picked it up as well, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, what were your initial impressions of the first week of the MLS?
There was a lot of goals. It was more than I was expecting. There's some really already like goals of the season, right? You know, I would. Seattle kind of surprised me to come out that strong against Minnesota, but you know, we'll see. I'm gonna go for Columbus this year and see if they can see how far they go.
Okay.
How about you?
I mean, I've been a big Vela fan ever since he came in. So, you know, kind of doing that LAFC thing, which, I mean, I'm glad that we finally have a team. We're not just going to be like supporting these other random teams because of X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like we said earlier, right? We got 8 to 12 months left before we can actually kick a ball. It seems like forever.
It does.
It'll go by fast.
It is.
Talking about like the manager coming, you know, in early June. I mean, what? That's 6 weeks away at the most. I mean,
yeah, but we've kind of figured out, right? So if we're being told June, I would probably think end of July.
Yeah, I mean, I was told 60 days tops a week ago, but it sounds like it's going to be more 90 to 120 now.
interesting.
Yeah. So who knows, man? We'll all find out together, I'm sure. You know, and there'll be breaking news here first, folks, on CLT.
Yeah, that for sure.
Get your water. That was my water. All right. So I guess we can wrap this thing up if you want. You know, we're getting a bunch of comments about how great Spurs were today, and I know you guys don't really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just glad you're not announcing them anymore. Yeah. That's good.
One concern that I really did have that I haven't seen in the last couple of days that really I'm a little bit worried about is that Charlotte FC didn't put out a statement and I'm not sure if we're going to join the Super League or not. So I'm interested to see.
Atlanta put it out that they're not going to join, right? So we'll see. I hate to keep comparing us to Atlanta, but you know they did put it out for sure that they're not going to join. So yeah.
I was gonna laugh, Jorge, but I couldn't give you a second Super League joke laugh. Sorry, bud. Sorry.
Two. That's crazy, man. All right, fellas. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up, and we're till the next time. I appreciate you guys coming on, and
I gotta get you a better light, Lee. Got that late night monitor look.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Hey man, get a lamp in front of your face, man. Come on now.
What's that?
I said, hey man, get a lamp in front of your face. Come on now.
That's right. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Thank you, everybody.
Adios. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Take care.